All right. Is everybody ready to go?
I'm ready.
How you guys doing?
Good. How you guys doing?
How you doing?
So horny. Anyway.
Whoa!
Just kidding. Welcome to Dysfunctional Adults, the comedy podcast in which we discuss weird news, pop culture, and being middle-aged dads. Yeah. We are bitter, cynical Gen Xers saddled with crippling debt and depressingly past our primes. But that's what makes this podcast so much fun. Jason, has your sound is much bassier. Like, did you change something? It's not bad.
My balls dropped.
Yay!
Finally. Well, now I need to talk like this the whole time because I feel like,
Yeah, please do. I like that.
Zach is all moist
Oh
now.
yeah.
I'm always moist. You know, I've noticed that as I've gotten older. I used to run hot, man. I mean, I was always sweaty, always hot, always burning up. And as, I don't know, like as far back as a year ago or so, I noticed I'm cold all the time. So I'm definitely getting older.
Or just becoming a woman.
Yay.
You shouldn't like take your mom's hormones, dude, without asking her. Or a doctor.
I thought those were Flintstone vitamins.
Dude, are you chewing them?
Yeah? Well, hi.
Estrogen.
So who's our new host? Jom?
Jom.
Jom.
Hi,
Yes.
Jom. Welcome to the podcast.
Hey, thanks.
You sound
fellas
different.
doing?
You look different. This is wonderful.
Yeah.
You look like a guy I buy drugs from.
Zorro? You buy drugs from Zorro?
I do. He puts little Z's on the packets. It's really nice.
Those are Zoloft.
Oh, well. I guess we know what I'm doing.
We've noticed you've been a little bit happier lately, so it's
Yeah.
all
It's the
right.
bear hat.
Yeah, I couldn't find one of those falcon mating hats, so this is the best thing I've got.
Yeah, I thought John was looking into that. I thought you were going to get us one.
The Falcon copulation hats, yeah.
This is still covered with semen, though.
I mean, Falcons are still doing it on top of that hat.
Oh, it wasn't falcons.
It was that rabbit behind him.
Let's not go any further.
Your emo rabbit. All right.
Yeah.
What have you guys been up to?
John and I hung
Well-
out on Saturday.
Oh. Again, without me. Wow.
Well, you are
You're
like
welcome
3
to come
states
down.
away.
Only 2.
Yeah, learn to count, dude.
And I got to tell you something. You know, part of our podcast is talking about being middle-aged dads, right? Well, I pull up and John is outside playing basketball with his twins, and it was just adorable because he had these rules where he couldn't shoot the basket from a certain line, so to make it a little easier for them, and he was high-fiving them whenever they made a basket, despite the fact that he was the opposition. It was just a really, really great scene. I just want to let everybody know that John is a fantastic father. So.
Aw.
Is it wrong that, like, at my age, I actually feel a sense of accomplishment for beating 9-year-olds at basketball?
That's not wrong.
As long as you have those extra rules in there, you know. So.
Yeah, like I only shoot 3-pointers. I don't shoot anywhere close to the hoop, so I can't just stand above them and dunk on them. You know, I let them go 2 against 1. I don't call them for traveling or anything. I don't really guard them. I just kind of stand in front of them. I let them shoot it. The only times I stuff them is if one of them's ball hogging and refusing to pass, then I'll stuff them to teach them a lesson. But
Yeah, I had something similar today. Hang on, let me check on him real quick, make sure he can't hear me.
You still haven't told him Santa Claus isn't real?
wait, what? What's this about Santa?
Sorry, John. He's not really David Harbour or a Viking or extremely violent.
I just had to make sure he had his headsets on so he didn't hear this, but my mother and I took him to like a little amusement park type thing. It's like a Chuck E. Cheese, but with cooler stuff. And I let him win on a lot of things, you know? And
Yeah.
that hurt. I wanted to just smash
You want to just destroy
score.
him so
Yeah.
bad.
Like push him down at laser tag and stuff. Like I just wanted to own his ass, but
Well, wait till you get to be my age and your son can lift more than you can at the gym. It's embarrassing. When we take turns on the machines, I have to use the machine because I broke my shoulder a few years ago. So I'll get on and I'll do my weight, like bench pressing. And I do like 70, 80 pounds, right? With several reps. he gets on and he flicks it up to like 110. And then when it's my turn again, he has to go and put it back down. And I'm just like, that is humiliating. My 14-year-old son can lift more than I can.
Awesome.
It's all that teenage power.
Yeah. The
angst
testosterone levels, yeah.
It's crazy.
So.
But that also makes them way stupider than us. So it's like kind of a win in a way. All that testosterone makes you dumb.
I just think it helps you think with something else, you know? So.
Yeah.
I hung out with John. I think we had a good time. John was crying the whole time, but mostly because I had him like handcuffed. You know?
He wouldn't keep his hands to himself.
Yeah.
Every time I whipped him, he'd be like, "Stop, please stop."
So you didn't use the safe word.
We didn't establish one.
He couldn't talk because he had a ball gag in his mouth. So, you know, I'm like, the safe word's banana, and I shoved the ball gag into his mouth.
Oh man. Well, that sounds like a lot of fun. I'm glad I wasn't invited.
I had a good time, but I don't know.
Yeah, no, it was fun.
We had some pizza, hung out with the wives after they went shopping. I would like to say, John, and I don't know, maybe this doesn't surprise you, but we ended up going back to Ross on the way home.
So Laura's been twice since then.
But it was a different Ross. It wasn't even the same one they went to. We
had
to go dress hunting.
Usually when my wife buys something that's like the wrong size or something, I tell her to just keep it because I know returning it will cost me more in the long run. Every time she goes to return one thing, she comes back with 5 or 6 new things. She's bought like 6 or 7 dresses for that one dinner for the cruise we're doing, and she's keeping them all.
Well, I had an epiphany while I was in Ross because I didn't quite understand it, like the draw. And I think it's just about finding like treasures because they even say that on their
it's
marketing.
Like DI but with new product basically.
Right.
It's completely random what they have, so sometimes you go in there and you'll see something cool.
Well, I remember I was kind of like that way with the anime at the video store. I'd look for like, you know,
hentai.
Yep. And if I found one, I'd be like, sweet, nobody knows this is illegal in Utah, you know. Unfortunately, that's way too true. I hope my bishop listens to this podcast. So
you can give him your autograph. You can offer it next time. Hey, do you listen? Do you listen?
I hope he doesn't. This is a long time ago, though. Long time ago.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, weeks and weeks ago.
Well, you remember Hollywood Video, right?
I loved Hollywood Video.
I should tell you the date, yeah.
Yeah. Hollywood Video was awesome.
That was the place to go if you
every Friday.
Yeah. And this could be like a too old for this shit thing, but my kids don't get it. Like, we'd pile in the car, we'd go to Blockbuster
and Hollywood Video.
Or both.
That's one of the things I miss most about the 90s or just any time before, streaming and all that took over everything. That was an event, man. We'd all go down to the video store and find something that's available. You'd be all excited if a new release was actually available.
Yep. And then JT and Riley would fight over like what to watch and what to rent because they never got along.
Streaming, for all its greatness in a lot of ways, it just doesn't have the anticipation, or it's just not an event, you know.
Foreplay.
Yep, it's the foreplay, the anticipation.
Thank you, Zach. Thank you for agreeing with me.
No, I totally agree. Like you guys were saying, you pile into the car. The movie you want may not be there, and you have to wait another week, and it sucks. But it just makes it taste that much sweeter when you finally get it. All of this immediate gratification.
And that's the Ross mentality. Sorry.
No, you're fine. All of this, and I don't mean to sound like a curmudgeon because I also engage in it, but all of this immediate gratification does have a consequence and a price. It makes things feel less satisfying in a way. Yeah. And I know that, from experience, whereas like my son, he doesn't understand any of it. He doesn't understand commercials. He doesn't understand waiting for an episode to come out for a week. He doesn't understand all that stuff. And I can't fault him for it because this is the world he was born in. But it makes me a little bit sad, and I don't know how to navigate raising him in this world because it's not the same world I grew up in.
Right.
It's different. So I just hand him a laptop and I'm like, just type POR. Just get started. Just get him, show him everything first. Yeah. Ugh.
Oh dear.
Because you can't stop it when they're at their friends,
Yeah.
Well, what I wonder about young people today is where the shared sense of nostalgia is going to come from. Because there's so many different options for entertainment. People aren't all going to congregate around a few certain ones like they used to. There's no bands today that are going to be as big as, Nirvana or whatever. There's no TV shows that are as big as, Seinfeld or Simpsons or Friends. sports aren't nearly as big as they used to be. It's like even like the biggest blockbusters, they make a lot of money, but then they're on streaming within a few months and they're out of sight, out of mind. Nothing enters like the pop culture lexicon and becomes iconic the way it used to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember when Batman 89 came out on VHS, it was like this huge deal that it came out only in 6 months.
Yeah.
Like they said, this was a really fast, I remember reading the news about it, or seeing the news. This is a fast movie to VHS release, and we watched it that Thanksgiving. I remember that was like a big deal in my house.
Hell yeah.
You know?
Well, you remember when the big movies, they'd stay in theaters for like a year.
Yeah.
Because they'd be in the normal theaters for 6 months or something, and then they'd have a second run in the dollar theater for like 6 months or something.
Are there even dollar theaters anymore?
No, there hasn't been for probably
pre-pandemic,
more than that, 6 or 7 years, probably even before the pandemic.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Even dollar stores aren't dollar stores anymore. They're $1.25 or more.
Those bastards.
There's no such thing as a dollar for anything.
But yeah, like everyone does their own thing because there's so many options. And even when they watch the same shows, they don't have to watch them together. You don't have to wait for something to come on. Like, oh, I can't wait till the next episode of whatever that come on Thursday night. You know, some people will watch them as they come. Some people wait for the whole season and then binge it. Some people wait for the whole series and then binge it. You're not all watching it at the same time. So
it really separates us.
Water cooler talk is not really like a thing anymore.
Right. All we're going to do is bag on Jason. There's nothing to talk about other than him.
I unite everybody with their hatred of me. So at least that's my goal.
Well, you're doing it, man. I hate you. I'm just kidding. I love you so much. Way more inappropriately than you
Way
should
more than
know.
that's healthy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it was a busy weekend. You know, Monday was April Fool's Day, so we had to prank the kids. So you know, you sit them down, tell them, your mom and I are getting divorced. I'm not your real father.
Right.
We don't love you. And then we drop them all off of the orphanage. I mean, we came back like 6 hours later. So it's not like we,
That's
you know,
way better
really
treatment than you got as a kid, I'm sure.
But yeah, I mean, it was hilarious. They were bawling. Then we just, we got you. We got you. Watching their faces as they were crying. It was a great prank. The therapy bills I'm going to be paying for the next 15 years, it was totally worth it.
Totally worth it.
No, I did not prank my kids. As fun as that would have been for me, that would have been mean. But we did do a lot of real stuff. Friday, you know how I mentioned a few weeks back, I do the dinner and basketball game with each of my kids individually. It was the oldest turn. So on Friday, I took him to a Jazz game and out to dinner. And he's a kindred spirit when it comes to restaurants. He actually likes trying new things. So it's not just McDonald's every time like the twins,
Right.
Jason. He picked Apollo Burger, which you could argue that's not exactly fine dining itself, but Apollo Burger makes McDonald's look like a syphilitic whore.
But
So
those are usually cheaper.
they are, but they're not as good.
Not when you factor in the cost of antibiotics.
And that we're talking about McDonald's, right?
Yeah.
I love me some McDonald's in all the ways.
I'll admit they have pretty good nuggets. The flaky crust on their chicken nuggets is pretty good. But
I don't think that's real chicken. But
no,
whatever.
but the crust tastes good. the batter, whatever you call it.
Yeah, the batter.
And then after dinner, you know, we go to the game, and just like before, they always want like little cups of Dipping Dots that cost, you know, $9 a piece.
$900.
So, you know, you pay your $18 for 2 little mini cups of Dippin' Dots, pay for it yourself on the with your phone that you scan, and
with a tip.
And then they still ask you for a tip. You know, my only regret is that I have but 2 middle fingers to show them how I feel about that. They like automatically add the tip. You have to go find it and click on no tip, or they add it automatically, which I don't even think should be legal. But
No.
especially because they don't even do anything. You're ordering yourself. You're scanning the QR code and ordering yourself. All they do is scoop it up and hand it to you, and they expect a tip for that.
I'll bet their CEOs love that, though. They're not going to put a stop to it because they're like, well, if they supplement our employees' income.
But they're already charging 3 times as much as this product is even worth.
Oh, I know.
So that was Friday. Saturday, like Jason mentioned, he came over. And then after that, my wife and I went to a play at the Hale Center Theater. We saw Fiddler on the Roof. I gotta say, I thought there'd be more fiddling. Apparently, I mean, there was some fiddling on the roof, but it wasn't like an entire concert of fiddling. Like
You're expecting
name
like
kind of
Lindsay
threw me off.
Sterling like standing on a roof or something.
Yeah, apparently it's about some Jewish family, and the Fiddler on the Roof is a metaphor about their hardships. So,
Oh, I was thinking diddling. I had a completely different idea of what you went and saw.
I don't think
Sorry.
it's Hale Center Theater you're talking about that.
So that was Saturday, and then of course Sunday was Easter. We did the usual, hide the eggs. Kids actually found them all this year, which is nice. Most years we're missing one or two, and then we give up, and then we find them like months down the road.
Are they plastic
we'll find like a random egg,
hard-boiled rotting eggs?
No, they're plastic ones filled with candy.
Oh, okay.
But
see, I get the plastic ones, and then I crack the egg and put the yolk and the white in the plastic egg.
So he opens it up.
Yeah,
and
it's just
oozes everywhere.
This isn't candy.
It's a life lesson about how you get screwed by the man.
So do you still do the whole Easter bunny thing, Zach? Or?
Yeah, I wait because unfortunately I don't get to spend a lot of time with him, so I kind of don't know where he's at with things like that. And he did make mention this year, saying something about, I think it's just parents doing it.
Yeah, my kids have mentioned that too, but I think they don't want to be too definitive of it because then we'll be like, okay, well then Easter's over, the magic's gone,
right? We're
not going to hide eggs anymore. They still want to find the eggs and they still want the candy inside them,
right?
So I think they mostly keep their suspicions to themselves. Occasionally they'll let something slip, but
I hid 48 plastic eggs, like I said, filled with whites and yolks. I put candy and coins and poisonous spiders and stuff in the eggs and hid them. He found all 48. I was quite surprised.
Nice.
And fast too, like way fast. He's a much smarter kid than I ever was. I was probably stepping on them and tripping over them and passing right by them. But
Zach goes back to his old house like whenever he's in Utah to continue looking in the yard for the eggs.
They've got to be there. They've got to be there.
Didn't you find out your parents just never really hid the eggs?
There are
all this time you looked for them and they just never bothered hiding them the whole time.
Exactly.
You just thought you were dumb the whole time.
Mm-hmm. And they finally let me in on the joke because they have to keep bailing me out and they're tired of it because I'm in somebody else's property, digging up and trying to find.
Trespassing.
Yeah.
Man, if Easter ever falls on April Fool's Day, I'm just going to not hide the eggs and let the kids search for like hours before I finally tell them. Oh, yeah, nice. I didn't hide any. April Fools.
We did the Easter thing, the April Fool's thing. I don't know if he's done it before or not. So I told him about how it works or whatever, and he kept wanting to throw things at people as like a prank. He's like, okay,
someone up on the side of the head with a rock. April Fools.
Yeah. I'm talking to him about it while we're at Smith's. I'm grabbing some eggs, and he's like, oh, are we going to throw those at people for April Fools? I'm like, no. I said,
people.
Yeah. It's more of a thing where we kind of trick people by saying things. You can pull pranks on them, but like we don't really have the ability to do that. We'll just fake grandma out with something. And he's like, or we could rig up some paint so it falls on them. And I'm like, well, yeah, we could.
Strangers, they don't find that as funny as children do.
For real. Yeah.
He's like, Dad, let's look at the lighter fluid. I've got a great idea.
And I'm like, I'm listening. So yeah, he wants to like cause people physical harm for April Fools, and I'm like,
that's awesome.
When you're older, bud. But
when you're older.
Yeah, when it's not up to me and I don't have to bail you out.
Just get it out of your system before you turn 18.
Mm-hmm. Here's a quick review of Madam Web. Wow.
You saw it?
Wow. I watched it last night. I kind of watched it because it was immediately terrible. Immediately. And okay, they must make movies for a certain group of people who like
terrible movies.
Yes. Because I like terrible movies, but it wasn't people that don't have any critical thinking skills. And it was just so bad. They tried so hard. I mean, they wanted you to care about these characters so badly, but didn't give you any reason to. It was just like immediately, and I don't want to ruin anything, but just like these people that didn't even know each other, 4 people that didn't even know each other are just suddenly like a family and even talk about each other within one day of knowing each other saying, you always act this way and this way and this way. And it's like, you've known each other for 16 hours. Shut the hell up. This is bad writing. It was bad. I don't listen to a lot of what critics say or what people are saying online about movies. I wanted to see it myself, see what I think. And so I gave it a shot and I tried to watch it and I just ended up on my phone because it was just immediately bad.
Well, there's a good type of bad and a bad, and movies are just bad.
Right.
I can appreciate a good bad movie. Mm-hmm. Like in high school, you saw Starship Troopers, right?
Right. Yep.
I love that movie.
Great movie.
I know it's terrible. The acting's bad. The storyline's ridiculous.
Yep.
But it's so entertaining. I probably saw that in the Dollar Theater like 5 or 6 times when that came out 25 years ago or whatever.
Yeah, it was great.
That's a good, bad movie.
Mm-hmm.
But some movies are just bad, and there's no redeeming qualities to them at all.
May I interest you in putting Thomas on YouTube again? I mean,
I will
since we're talking...
murder you. I would walk because I don't have a car. I would walk up to Salt Lake and slit your throat in the night.
And no jury in the world would convict you after they saw the evidence.
No, they wouldn't. They'd be like, wow, he deserved everything he got. He was warned once and then twice.
It's really self-defense.
Yep.
Just bring Charlie with you, and after you do it, yell, April Fool, and walk away. Because it'll take you a whole year to walk up there. So by the time you get up here, it'll be April 1st, 2025.
Right. Especially at the speed I walk. Atlantic Rim is a mockbuster of Pacific Rim. That is a great example of a bad movie. That is a wonderful bad movie. So funny. There's a series of RoboCop movies that were made in Canada called The Prime Directives. It's a series, I believe, of 4 movies that they made, and they're so bad, but they're so good. This Madam Web was not that caliber. It was just, it was bad trying to be good. Like trying really hard, acting like it was good. It had that unearned confidence in itself. You know what I mean? It doesn't deserve it, but it's just like, yeah, no, this movie is busting some blocks. That's how I felt about that. Oh, I'm too old for this shit.
You know, this might be my age, but it might just be generally me complaining. So my son and I go to the gym twice a week, and that's kind of our thing. We work out together. I mentioned earlier, there's all kinds of people at this gym, but there's a lot of like really fit, serious gym rats, right? And they're usually on the younger side, Gen Z side. Well, that's fine. I've got nothing against that. My son's Gen Z, but what I can't stand is just like the sheer inconsiderate nature of Gen Z. Like, I'll give you an example. There's this one guy who's a recurring offender that I make fun of with my son all the time. He loves the curl machine, but he just sits there and stares. And once in a while, like every 2 minutes, I timed him, he'll do a curl. And then he'll continue just to stare off, probably at the girls who are lifting weights on the other side of the gym. And then I'm looking over there, and I'm even starting to say stuff so he can hear me, you know, about how he's taking too long or, you know, whatever. Because it's egregious. It isn't like just a few minutes. This is like half an hour sometimes, 20 minutes maybe. He'll get up eventually, and then he doesn't wipe the thing off. Like... And that drives me crazy because he
didn't really sweat. He did one curl in 20 minutes.
Right, you're right.
No sweat to wipe off.
You still have to wipe it off after you use the machine. I always do, even if I didn't sweat. And I teach my son to do it too because it's just courteous. You're considerate. You don't want your stank, you know, getting on other people. Anyway, he's one, and I just cannot stand him. And he's really built, and he's just this dumbass. I really don't like him. So. And then there's this kid the other day who Ben likes to do the chin dips on the machine. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, where you like kneel on it and you like pull yourself up.
Yeah.
And this kid had like put his stuff over there, and he was using 2 machines at once. And it's over here. And then anytime someone like came over to it, he'd run over and be like, "Oh, I'm using it," and then he'd go back to using the other machine. And I got so pissed because there are these 2 old guys. There's this Asian guy and this old white guy, and they're the funniest thing. It's like they're just old guys who come to the gym together, and they're cool, you know. But they wanted to use it, and he was just rude to them. I almost went and told the staff when I saw that. But that's the other thing too, is people just kind of like hogging the machines, like using 2 at once. So just like a total lack of courtesy. And then nobody in this generation holds the door for you anymore. I make it a point, I taught my son, like when we go into the gym, we hold the door open for people who are coming up, right? Well, basically I've had the door like slammed in my face a couple times by people who just don't do that. You know, men and women too, but mostly men. I'm just so frustrated with how inconsiderate and these people are, these young kids, and a bunch of it too, you know. You'll walk up to a machine and there's just somebody's water bottles there. You look around and they're like flirting with a girl over on the side because you've seen it before. You know it's their water bottle. I just want to like start swearing and punching things. And it's not like a once in a while thing. It's like all the time we're there. There's a bunch of douchebags, self-important, vain, son of bitches. Just they think the world belongs to them, and they don't. Anyway, so
Is there a
I'm
lot
too
of
old.
selfie culture?
Not at this gym.
People
I
like
think this gym.
holding up their phones as they're working out, hashtag getting fit or whatever.
No, I haven't seen anybody taking pictures. I think this gym has a policy against doing that, which is
That's good.
nice. And I'm really careful not to like look at girls for too long because this is the kind of gym where I'd get like shamed for it. Not that I do that, I'll take a look if there's an unusually attractive woman. Hell, I was even looking at a dude because he was like really like ripped and good looking.
Thanks, dude. Thanks.
Not well, I didn't want to call you out by name. Not because I was attracted to him. I was just like, wow, that guy's like an Olympian or something. But so I make sure to be like polite that way. I don't just like drool at the girls and like stare, like my friend who sits on the curl machine. But he doesn't even wipe up his drool. That's part of my problem. Anyway, so that's why I'm being grumpy old man, Jason, is just because there's like something's missing. Like these younger people don't know how to interact socially with other people, and they have no idea what like chivalry is. So anyway, that's my rant.
Whenever anybody uses the word chivalry, I just always imagine somebody wearing armor and holding a jousting. What do they call the joust? Lance?
Yeah,
lance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you know what I mean.
I
Honor,
do. I know. I'm just
courtesy,
but it's
basic human decency.
And you're right. And it gets worse. It seems it gets worse every year. But it's also a lot of people our age too. It surprises me even more that they're so inconsiderate. And I feel like the lack of consideration is a little more
penisy.
Penisy. That's exactly. See, that's the word I couldn't come up with. Thank you. It seems more actively discourteous in a way. Because if somebody's not
aggressive?
making sure that the door is not slamming in somebody's face behind them, in my mind, they're kind of actively allowing it to happen and causing it. It drives me nuts too. I completely understand. I don't understand why people are so dismissive and rude and discourteous all the time. As we're growing up, we're being taught to be this way. And those of us that listen have our own frame of mind, so we can't be in the mind of the people that don't listen and don't do that. So we can't even imagine that there's going to be somebody that was told to be courteous and ignoring it. So we expect all of these people to be just as courteous as us, and when they're not, we're like, what the fuck? Like, what? Why is this happening? Why am I being courteous? The thing is I can't stop, because when I'm on the phone with a fucking robot saying press 1 for English, press 2, when they want me to give like my birth date, they're like, please say your birth date or enter it on I will want to say it, but I gotta be courteous. Let them finish. It's a fucking robot. It's a recorded message, and I'm too courteous to just speak. I can't speak. Penis. Anyway.
No, I get it. I totally get it. And I don't know. I forgot to even mention we sometimes we'll go out to the car to leave, and somebody's literally next to us, and like they're just blazing in their car.
Mm-hmm.
Like if that's your thing, fine. But it's like I could smell it all over the parking lot. You go over to the Ross parking lot, at least you'd be like. Anyway, so that's why I'm old and grumpy and hate mankind generally.
Yeah, they suck. We should get rid of them.
Yeah. As an April
Still
Fool's
praying
joke.
for the asteroid.
Yeah. April Fools.
Let's commit genocide as an April Fool's joke.
Oh, I'm too old for this shit.
Sponsored by Insure.
For real. You grumpy asshole. Not me, though. I accept and love everybody. Is that everything? Did we do? We just got to do. I mean, I know we got to do Florida, man. I'll have to cut this. But it's not time yet. So is that everything, though?
I think so.
Oh, it's just going so fast.
That's what she said.
I know. Actually, I started recording this before John got on, and we're at 44 minutes. So we're just a little bit ahead of schedule today. So it might be a little shorter episode. That's cool.
Short and sweet, and that's what I said to her.
Hell yeah. She's like, that is not sweet. Oh. And now it's time for show and tell. Have you seen his videos for the segments, John?
I haven't. No, I just listen to the podcast.
Yeah, no,
I don't watch.
I didn't know if he sent you just the videos so you could see them, but they're pretty good. They're really cool. I really like them.
No, he hasn't. Jason, if you do send those to me, I will watch.
Seriously, dude, if you just go on Spotify and click on it, you can watch it.
That's one extra step, Jason.
But he won't be able to see all of them, in order, because he doesn't have time to sit and watch it. So I'll just send him a link so he can just look at them real quick.
Okay,
they're so short.
Sorry.
Oh no, don't be. I just wanted to see them because I think they're really cool. That's all.
Thanks, man. Thank Canva.
Thanks, Canva.
Sponsored by Canva.
They're gonna love that. Penis.
We're a family brand.
Oh, are there no penises in your family? Well, who wants to go first? I will.
Okay.
Dude, do that. I am not giving you time to answer. Just some more random facts. Here we go. The maximum recommended consumption for Monster Energy drink is 16 ounces in Australia, but 48 ounces in the USA. That's crazy.
Big difference.
It is. It's a huge difference. What is that? Let's see. 16, 32.
It's 3 times.
That's 3 times. Yep.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. You might be thinking, wow, we really don't care about our citizens here in the U.S., but let me remind you of something. Last I checked, we didn't lose a war to a bunch of emus. So maybe if the Aussies were willing to sacrifice a decade of their lifespans, they wouldn't be dunked on by a bunch of birds that can't even fly. So
we are warriors.
We are warriors. Yeah, we're extreme. Do you remember, was it the 90s or was it like the 2000s where everything was extreme? Everything was like, oh, extreme Mountain Dew. Wasn't there a Mountain Dew Extreme?
Yeah, it's like late 90s, I think.
Yeah, that was like Jolt Cola era. I used to, when I was in high school, that was like a decade after you guys got out of high school, I think.
No, please.
I used to go to the 7-Eleven across the street from East High. We are sponsored by East High, but I went over there and I would buy ephedra in a bottle. Not knowing, I'm just thinking it's like no-dose. I'm thinking it's like harmless. I was literally buying ephedra pills and taking them all day so that I could focus on shit. Because
don't they use that to make meth?
That they use Sudafed because that's the only you can't get ephedra anymore. It's illegal, so it's Sudafed. They use that to cook the meth, right, John? Isn't that how we do it?
Yeah.
So. But anyway, sorry, random thought. But we're willing to sacrifice a lot of our years just to be way more extreme here in the United States.
Extreme.
All right. Sunflowers can help clean radioactive soil. Japan is using this to rehabilitate Fukushima. Almost 10,000 packets of sunflower seeds have been sold to the people of the city. And if anything, I think this proves my theory that Big Flower, after failing many lobbying attempts to convince Congress to add a 28th Amendment to the Constitution, requiring all HOAs to financially penalize their members for empty flower beds, took a more unsavory yet effective route of sabotaging Fukushima's reactors by dropping some Acme earthquake pills into the Pacific Ocean.
Big Flower.
Big Flower. I'm telling you guys, me and Q, we know what we're talking about.
The Sunflower Consortium.
Yep. By using big data, Walmart determined that people stock up the most on strawberry Pop-Tarts and beer before a hurricane. No joke. So I was like, what the hell is this about? So I took a look at the hurricane stats for the U.S., and that tracks because the 3 states with the highest number of hurricanes alone explains this data. Number 1 state with 40% of all U.S. hurricanes is Florida. So what would they buy? Beer and strawberry Pop-Tarts. That's exactly right. The next state is Texas with 22.22% of all hurricanes. Then Louisiana with 18.86. And the list goes on, and it includes North Carolina, South Carolina, Alabama, Georgia, Mississippi, but then New York's in there, and then Virginia. But all of those states, beer, strawberry Pop-Tarts. Makes sense to me.
I can see it.
Anna Bagenhold. That's a cool last name. Bagenhold. All right. Anna Bagenhold fell through a frozen stream while she was skiing and was stuck for over an hour. She made a full recovery and became the person to survive the lowest body temperature ever recorded at 56.7 Fahrenheit, even though she was clinically dead. I'm sorry. No, she didn't. That's not how it works. She died from it and then they brought her back. You survive something by not dying from that thing.
Yeah, if they have to bring you back, it doesn't count as you survived that event.
Right. You died from it. It killed you.
Yeah.
Stupid. All right. Hey, Jason, this is for us.
All right.
Aggressive sitting is a sport. It originated in Berlin no later than 2008. They need to find some shit to do in Berlin, apparently. You can purchase a special stool for this sport for around $70. And this just sounds to me like Big Chair trying to drum up some stool sales. And by stool, I don't mean the kind Jason buys from e-girls online.
Hey, that's for my gut, my bacteria in my gut.
Oh.
It's not...
Explain that, because some of our listeners may not know about that and what that's about.
This is an actual thing. There are people that have a condition called C. diff who have like constant diarrhea because the bacteria in their stomach has been killed. Well, the cure is to have a poop transplant. They actually will pay people, for healthy people, to poop. They'll keep said poop, and then they will stuff it up the person with C. diff, and the idea is that the bacteria will grow and re-regulate the gut. So that is why I buy online poop. It's not for any weird perverted reasons, as Zach was implying. It's also what I used to throw.
I'd still say that's a weird reason.
My neighbor's cars, but,
You know, I also read, though, that there is a version of it that is actually taken orally, which, of course, brings up a lot of questions about breath, burps. Right?
No.
So how healthy is your poop, John? Could you get a discount through you instead of buying from these e-girls, or like?
And John, you don't have to give plasma anymore, man. Go poop.
Just donate poop. Yeah.
You have to go there though. You have to do it in the doctor's office.
Yeah. All right. In ancient Greece, throwing an apple to. Sorry.
We're a high-class show, ladies and gentlemen.
Not only high class, but well organized. In ancient Greece, throwing an apple to a woman was a symbolic declaration of love, and to catch it was to show acceptance of that love. And
so if she doesn't love you back, she'll just take it off the forehead and
I guess,
throw an apple at her face, and she's like, "I don't love you." She just stands there and hit her in the face.
Yeah. I mean, I think I would get it at that point. I'm like, oh, my apologies, madam.
I would throw it deliberately as hard as I can, so she has to try and catch it out of self-defense, and then it's too late to turn back. You love me. Like, no, I was just trying to protect my face. Nope, you caught it. It's a law.
I'm going to read this even though we basically just said it. I'm glad I saw this, because this whole time I've been throwing apples at women and not understanding their ire. Like just pelting them with the apples, And I just thought that if they didn't, I just thought at first they didn't like the type of apple I was throwing. So I'd be like, oh, I understand. I too hate red delicious apples, and then throw a Granny Smith at them. But apparently that wasn't the problem.
No, I've heard that in ancient Greece, one apple was fine, two was sexual harassment.
It depends on how good looking you are. You can throw like 5 apples at them if you're good looking, right, John? You know what I'm saying, bro.
I gotta say, I'm more careful with how I talk to women in my 40s than I was in my 20s.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
I've never been flirty, but we're officially the age where we can be creepy old men to women in their 20s. By not doing anything differently than we would have done 20 years ago, just by virtue of our age.
Oh, you zip up now. You used to not.
They used to not expect me to.
My friends are problematic. I'm not.
I'm just looking at the 3 windows on our Zoom chat. I've got a bear hat. John's in like a disguise.
And I'm not wearing pants.
Zach, oh, nice. I was going to say you are the normal one, but apparently not. So.
Worldwide, cucumber production was 57.5 million tons in 2010 alone, with 40.7 million tons of production and export happening in China, which explains why after eating a cucumber, I'm always super hungry 5 minutes later. But that happens with the cucumbers anyway. That's a bad joke.
Well, it's all vegetables.
Right.
For some reason, vegetables don't trigger my full reflex.
Mm-hmm.
I could eat like a whole bucket of vegetables that will not even put a dent in my hunger.
It's crazy.
I
won't eat them. I won't eat them because they're gross, but I could, is what I'm saying.
Right.
Theoretically, and it would not make me any less hungry.
So this like large purchasing of cucumbers in China, has that also contributed to their low birth rate?
Uh-oh. Oh, that's dirty. Oh, Jason. This is a quality podcast. This is a family affair.
A family show, yeah.
I'm just implying. I'm not saying it outright.
That's true. That's true. You can always claim the innocence later. Be like, oh, I
cucumber
never
causes
meant
infertility.
That. Yeah. I read it on QAnon.
QAnon.org.
Sponsored by.
No. We want to stay on YouTube.
Cucumbers can actually cure bad breath. A slice pressed to the roof of your mouth for 30 seconds with your tongue allows the phytochemicals to kill the problematic bacteria, and then people will be all like, phew, your breath smells like cucumbers. I like that they're called phytochemicals. It's like, it's spelled different, but it's like, phytochemical. We're going to fight bad breath. It's cute. It's cute.
I was thinking dog, like dog breath, phyto.
Oh, yeah, with a D.
I can't stand when they put cucumbers in like water dispensers at like hotels. That bothers me on like a moral level.
Not even a practical level. It's immoral for them to do that.
Like, I want water, damn it, not like my vegetables.
It is a moral failing on their part.
Let me get some water, sorry.
Has it got cucumbers in it?
Of course.
You monster.
Cucumber monster. The first band to ever perform live on all 7 continents was...
The Beatles?
Nope. No. Metallica.
Huh.
It was Metallica. When asked if he knew Metallica was going to be the first band to do this when they started their tour, lead singer James Hetfield had this to say.
That Antarctic concert must have really crushed it.
He's very enthusiastic.
Yeah. Yeah.
What an enthusiastic young gentleman.
I'm sure the interviewer was just like,
why did you bring a drum to an interview? Yeah!
Where'd you even get that?
I'll never tell.
I was talking to my daughter Liz the other night at Easter dinner, and she likes Metallica, and I'm like, so I started like telling her albums she needed to listen to, i.e., she heard Metallica on Stranger Things, liked one song, and now likes Metallica. So I decided to educate her. It said you need to look at the Black Album, you need to, you need to listen to Load, and so. Anyway,
you're speaking another language to me. I don't know those.
Oh, whatever.
Actually, I don't actually. I know a couple of their songs, but like, and no, I know a lot, but I don't listen to them. I don't know what it is about them. I don't care for them. Maybe it's because every time he gets asked a question, he does this.
That.
Ugh.
Oh man.
All right, last one. A woman once tried to commit suicide by jumping off the Empire State Building. She jumped from the 86th floor but was blown back onto the 85th floor by a gust of wind. Onlookers reported hearing her exclaim, "Ugh, fine," before she went back to her life.
Well, that's
how much of a failure she is. She can't even kill herself right.
But at least she's brave enough to try. I'm just a chicken shit, man.
Oh,
what?
No. This is the part
a lot of people would see that as divine intervention.
I do, yeah. So
yeah, which her reply would make sense. Her response, "Ugh, fine," like she's saying it to God or whatever. Yeah.
I think we have to flash that suicide helpline number now because you mentioned on the living.
Dude, you're not wrong. Okay. I'm too old for this shit. I have something to say. Sorry. So I called my insurance the other day because I'm, dealing with this whole car stolen thing. And
Gotta follow the news.
Cool. Back to you, John.
You can't ignore breaking news. It's important. Breaking news. Florida man threatens to destroy everyone with his army of turtles. A Florida man is behind bars after screaming obscenities and threatening to destroy everyone with his army of turtles. The suspect, Thomas Lane, 61, faces multiple charges of breaching the peace, misusing 911, and resisting an officer without violence. Yes. Police say they received 7 calls about a man disturbing the peace Sunday at 3 different locations. Witnesses say Lane was yelling out obscenities constantly, calling himself the Saint, saying his turtle army will destroy them all, and stating they would see what will happen in 1 hour. At some point, Lane even entered the police department and proceeded to yell and berate the dispatcher while pounding on the walls and glass. He left the building, but then called 911 again while at a 7-Eleven and again threatened the same dispatch officer. The police report states he told the dispatcher over the phone that you need to leave now or you'll be sorry you messed with the Saint. Lane was later found in his car but refused to get out while still yelling obscenities and screaming about how his turtle army would destroy us all. Lane was forcibly removed and arrested.
That's a cool story, but once I found out the turtles weren't actually there, you kind of lost me.
Yeah. I was going to ask what happened to the turtle army, but he just answered my question.
It sounds like he didn't really have a turtle army.
Oh, that's so fantastic. I love that story.
So anyway, Zach, I think you were saying something?
I'm just using all the sounds today. Oh, for this shit. Okay. So I called my insurance because of the whole car thing that's going on. And long story short on that, by the way, car loan is basically paid off and I got a little money back and my car's gone. Sad. Anyway, so when I called, the automated system that I won't interrupt when they're speaking said, if this is an emergency, please hang up and call 911. How many of us, when we're having an emergency, are like, fuck, I got to call my insurance now? And, what? Who's doing that? Nobody's doing that.
At least someone did it once.
Well, yeah. But everybody says this. I go, why is this being said by my insurance? I get it. They're kind of in the field. But I kind of feel like if I also called 7-Eleven right now, it would say that too. Like, if this is an emergency. And
I need a Slurpee.
I mean, that's valid. That's valid.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there was one more too. I went to turn in the key to my car to a place that had my car, an auction. When I got to the place to turn in my key, on the door, it says all visitors must sign in. But you can't just go up to the desk and sign your name on a piece of paper. You have to scan the QR code again. Here we go again. To then take you can do it that way. You can scan the QR code or you can download their app to sign in. I mean, when you were talking about apps the other day, John, like I totally get it, but what is this? Like I'm signing in, I need an app for that? That's ridiculous. That's absolutely stupid. Scan the QR code, go to their site, and it wants my name, and then it wants it had 2 pages for me to sign in, to put in my information, all my name, and I put in Zach. I didn't put Zachariah because it's hard enough for people with my last name. I don't want to make it harder with my first name. So I put in Zach, Z-A-C-H, put in my phone number, my address, and then it asked me all these questions about what I was doing there, and none of the options matched why I was there, so I just picked some, and I sat down. I'm the only person in there. I've got my son with me. We're sitting back, and we're just chilling there while they're doing stuff. On the website, it tells me, it'll be about 5 minutes. And I'm the only one there. And there's people just kind of like walking around, doing nothing, doing stuff. They're working. But I'm a customer. I'm sitting there. And out of nowhere, I hear, Zach? For fuck's sakes, come on. I understand if you mess up my last name. Zach? Give me a break. So, anyway.
Go to college, kids. Go to college.
Oh, I'm too old for this shit. I feel like if I'd have spelled my name Z-A-C-K, they'd have been like, Zasuk? Anyway.
Next time.
Yeah, we're done.
Next time.
We're done.
I just have a collection of a few news stories. None of them are from Florida, surprisingly, but I'll read them anyway. Montana man pleads guilty to creating massive Franken sheep with cloned animal parts.
Awesome.
The plan was to let people hunt the largest sheep in the world on private ranches in the U.S. An 80-year-old an 80-year-old man in Montana pleaded guilty Tuesday to 2 felony wildlife crimes involving his plan to let paying customers hunt sheep on private ranches. But these weren't just any old sheep. They were massive hybrid sheep created by illegally importing animal parts from Central Asia, cloning the sheep, and then breeding an enormous hybrid species.
Wow.
Yeah. Arthur Jack Schubarth, 80, owns and operates a 250-acre alternative livestock ranch in Vaughan, Montana.
That
Alternative
sounds dirty.
livestock includes hybrids of mountain sheep, mountain goats, and other large mammals, which are often used for trophy hunting by wealthy people.
And the most dangerous animal of all, man.
Also bred with sheep, probably.
The normal way.
You got to make like real life, satyrs and fawns and minotaurs and stuff. An unnamed accomplice of Schubart kicked off the decade-long scheme by illegally bringing biological tissue from a Marco Polo sheep, the largest sheep in the world, from Kyrgyzstan into the U.S.
What the hell is happening in this world?
So, yes, you want to go hunting for some Franken sheep? A giant penis mowed into lawn at King Charles coronation site.
Yeah.
As this may rub royalists the wrong way. Cocky pranksters mowed the giant penis into the famous grounds of the Royal Crescent in Bath, England, where King Charles' significant coronation party was set to be thrown in just 2 days. Residents awoke Thursday morning to morning wood, with the glaringly obvious 30-foot tall erect penis trimmed into the lush grass overnight. Fancy homes in the area date to the 18th century and form a crescent on the street, known worldwide for having a perfect lawn. It's unclear if law enforcement is handling the case.
Get Scotland Yard on this right away.
I bet their HOA was pissed.
Mine was when I did the same thing out here.
Yeah. And my phone froze up.
All right, good night.
Bride almost cancels her wedding when she needs to use the bathroom before the ceremony and accidentally walks in on her husband being breastfed by his mom. her groom-to-be, sorry, not her current husband.
That's really judgmental, you guys.
Oh, dear.
Can we get off this pretty quick? I've got, my mom's got my dinner ready.
It's your 9 o'clock feeding.
The bride walked into the toilet and what she saw was almost enough to end the wedding. I like the way it says almost. This is a story told on the podcast, and the podcaster's trying to guess what happened. She's like, what do you think she saw? Was he having sex with someone else? She goes, no, worse. Was he having a wank? No, worse. Was he getting wanked? No, worse. Worse than anything sexual. It's like, okay, was he in there doing drugs? The woman says, nope, he was being breastfed by his mom. So why is his middle-aged mother still producing milk? Well, she's obviously been doing that with him for a really long time, continuously since he was a child.
That's how it works.
So I like the way it says they almost canceled the wedding, because apparently it wasn't
back from that.
That wasn't quite a deal breaker. It was just frowned upon.
What, is mom going to move in with them? I mean, like, what?
Well, if he wants to eat, then yeah, she's going to need to live there.
I'm worried for his wife when she has kids. Like, what are the expectations going to be?
Well,
They'll
in
be
case
fighting
you're
the
wondering,
kids for the breast milk.
According to the American Academy of Pediatrics, infants should be exclusively breastfed for about the first 6 months, and then the mother can continue breastfeeding up to 12 months old, not 27 years or whatever this was.
Maybe she just misread the research, and she's like, years, okay, yeah. Oh boy.
Oh man.
Lottery winner shows up naked for his work shift at Walmart with boss's face tattooed on his ass.
Epic.
Heroic.
Heroic. That's the word.
47-year-old Jerry Smith won $13.2 million, the $1 million jackpot at the Powerball lottery. After 17 years at his job without any incident, he had been involved in several heated arguments with his superior over the last week and was suspended from work for 2 days for disciplinary reasons. This morning, he pushed the confrontations a step further, showing up for work completely naked and bearing a tattoo of the store manager's face on his ass cheek. According to his coworker, Karen Miller, who witnessed everything, Mr. Smith arrived at work totally naked and kept cussing and yelling obscenities for a full 45 minutes until he was arrested.
He's committed.
He arrived drunk and naked 45 minutes late for his shift. He immediately began showing his ass to everyone and cursing the store manager and the company at the top of his lungs. Awesome. Mrs. Miller claims he then defecated on the manager's desk and caused mayhem for more than half an hour before he was arrested and escorted out of the store by police. Mr. Smith was arrested and filed with 113 criminal charges, including 111 charges of indecent exposure, as well as public intoxication and vandalism, causing more than $2,500 in damage. He was also fired from his job at Walmart for disciplinary reasons.
Oh, come on.
I mean, you got to give him a warning first, like a verbal warning, a written warning.
I think that all happened within the space of 45 minutes, John.
So
I'd understand if he was caught like breastfeeding from his mother, like something like that, but come on. And not only that, it took them 45 minutes to arrest him. The cops got the call and they're like, dude, just like give him this. Let him have this. He's already going to get charged with a lot of stuff. Just let's give him his time. He deserves this.
Yeah. And last one, I don't even need to read this article. I can just say the headline, and it sounds like a Mad Lib. I bet at no point can you guess where this one's going.
Being breastfed by your mom when you're 27?
Worse.
Spanish porn star Nacho Vidal, who likes to advertise his aromatic candles shaped like male genitalia on Twitter, has been arrested on manslaughter charges following a man's death during a mystic ritual in which he inhaled psychedelic toad venom.
Wow. Why wasn't I invited to that party?
There's a lot to unpack in just that headline.
Well, you certainly did exceed my expectations. I'll give you that.
I need better friends. Like, that sounds like a blast.
Yes, it does. Well, that's what I had. You're up, Jason.
Sorry. That was amazing. Those were really good ones. I like those.
It's going to be hard to top. I never should go after you, John. So this is from Reader's Digest.
Do you say that about the orgies you guys go to together, too?
That's for the other podcast. So this is from Reader's Digest. It's 12 conspiracy theories that actually turned out to be true. My rabbit is throwing a fit behind me. Sorry.
Put on the cum hat.
Some of these are not what we'd call actually funny, but it's really eye-opening how many conspiracy theories have turned out to be true. I used to make fun of anybody who was a conspiracy theorist, but now I don't know anymore. So here's a conspiracy. The government was stealing dead bodies to do radioactive testing. Here's the truth. The government was stealing parts of dead bodies because they needed young tissue. They recruited a worldwide network of agents to find recently deceased babies and children, and then take samples, even limbs, each collected without notification or permission of the more than 1,500 grieving families.
Wow.
Yeah.
If they would have just offered them some money, it would have been fine. It's not like they can't afford it.
Oh, I heard little Billy was in an accident. My condolences. Also, can I have his leg?
Yeah.
Here's $50.
Well, he's dead. He's not going to need it anymore.
Right.
Just don't have an open casket funeral and you'll be fine.
Oh, that's dark. Here's another one. This is, here's the conspiracy. During Prohibition, the government poisoned alcohol to keep people from drinking. Here's the truth. Crazy conspiracy theories almost always suggest the government is behind it all, and they were right. Again, manufacturers of industrial alcohol had been mixing their products with dangerous chemicals for years prior to Prohibition, but between 1926 and 1933, the federal government pushed manufacturers to use stronger poisons to discourage bootleggers from turning the alcohol into moonshine. That didn't stop the bootleggers or their customers, and by the end of Prohibition, more than 10,000 Americans had been killed by tainted booze.
Wow. That's awful.
Yeah, not really funny.
Stick with breast milk.
Yep.
All right,
that's what you always say.
Let's go a little bit lighter.
By the way, Zach, I think your son just peeked in on you for a sec.
He did.
You notice that?
Oh, yeah. I saw it.
I saw him like peeking in the curtain real quick.
I'm going to April Fool's his ass with some eggs here pretty quick. Just kidding.
Here's the conspiracy. The Dalai Lama is a CIA agent. The truth.
Is he an actual llama, though?
I wish. The Dalai Lama is a llama. That's why he spits on everyone. Anyway, here's the truth. Perhaps the reason the Dalai Lama is smiling in all those photos has something to do with the six-figure salary he pulled down from the U.S. government during the 1960s, according to declassified intelligence documents. He earned $180,000 in connection with the CIA's funding of the Tibetan resistance to the tune of $1.7 million per year. The idea was to disrupt and hamper China's infrastructure. So the Dalai Lama was a CIA agent.
Not a surprise.
And not an actual llama.
Not an actual llama. The government is spying on you.
Duh.
The truth is, in 2016, government agencies sent 49,868 requests for user data to Facebook, 27,000 to Google, and 9,000 to Apple, according to the Electronic Frontier Foundation, a major nonprofit organization that defends civil liberties in the digital world and advises publics on matters of internet privacy. You've also probably heard that your computer camera could be used to spy on you, and it's true. It can.
Just so you guys know, when I'm in here, when we're not doing podcast stuff, I keep my camera focused plainly on my nude body, because if they're going to be spying on me, I want them to suffer. So,
or give them a good show.
I guess some people would be into that.
There's that one CIA agent who has the Zach folder on his desktop. Zach file.
The Zach folder.
Hell yeah. He probably says it like that because he's an idiot.
It's like, where's Zach today? He's like tracking.
Starts sweating.
Zach but George folder.
Yep.
All right, last one. Here's the conspiracy. E.T. is buried in the desert of New Mexico.
Hey.
Yeah.
Go dig him up, Zach.
The truth. This one is real. The Atari video game E.T. the Extraterrestrial failed so miserably
that
the company buried unsold cartridges in a desert landfill.
I remember that one.
That's so sad. That makes, any living copy is worth probably a lot of money, right?
As long as you don't uncover like the other thousands of the, buried in a mass grave. So
right.
There was a game like that. My work sells video games. Couple years back, there was a game that the manufacturer was so embarrassed by this game. They told us to just destroy them all. They had me break them all and throw them away. They just wanted to take the hit rather than try selling them because the game got such bad reviews.
Wow.
I'm trying to remember what game it was, but it was...
Was it a Switch game?
It was on a couple different systems, I think.
And it wasn't Halo Infinite.
No.
We are not sponsored by 323.
But yeah, they decide to just take the hit, eat all the losses, and just destroy it all. They didn't even want it back. It's like, here's your money back for it.
Crazy. Take them all.
No, they didn't want. No, because they didn't want anyone playing them.
Oh wow!
Like even for free, they were so embarrassed by it. They had me send them a picture of all the smashed games.
Was it Cyberpunk?
I could look it up. I didn't expect to be telling this story because it just reminded me of it because of your story. But I could look it up if you guys are curious and find out.
Yeah, I'd like to hear about it.
But yeah, they actually wanted me to send them pictures of the destroyed carcasses to prove that I had done it. And I didn't try and donate them or pawn them off on someone. And then they wanted you killed
just to tie up loose ends. But your boss wouldn't do it.
Is that why you have the mask on? Is that who you're running from, John? Tell us the truth. We're your friends. We won't sell you out.
The Utah State Parks Department, still from episode 3 or whatever that was.
They're looking for you.
Awesome.
There should be like some sirens in the background. John's like, I have to go.
Oh, sorry. If you guys want to finance the trip, I will go try to find those video games.
Yes.
I don't have anything going on.
I'll pay for you want a new car, don't you? Okay. Well,
Yeah.
pretty soon EVs will be free, so you can just take one of those.
Fantastic. Well, you guys, that was
been
fun.
Another fun episode.
It has.
Yeah.
As always.
All right. Maybe next episode we can tell the truth to our listeners that we all actually just explicitly hate each other, and we're just really good actors. You guys ready to end the show?
Let's do it.
All right. Thanks for playing.
You look like a... Sorry, I
No,
lost
I'm
track
sorry.
how long that was. You look like you've heard that a few times, is what I'm catching from your look on your face.
Nah.